Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. He's Jim the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the live show we do every day at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. That's what I'm talking about, Jim. That's what I'm talking about, Jim. For people who aren't regular viewers of this show and might have not caught yesterday's show, Jim and I both kicked our ass after having a couple of days that were a little bit iffy at the beginning of the week. Yesterday, though, is what I'm talking about. Jim the Bag nailed both of the games, puck lines. I had the -1 line on one of them and the over, so I had 2-0 in the NHL. NBA, Jim was 3-1. He nailed the MLB. I went 2-1 in NBA, and I don't know if you caught this, Jim, but at the end of the NBA segment, I said I had like 7 or 8 leans. I was like, I like this lean and that lean and this lean. That. All of them cashed.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them cashed. Charlotte under, the Mavs over, the everything. Yeah, all of them cashed. I do track my leans. My leans are kicking ass in NBA, so maybe that means I should have a little bit more balls. I don't know, but the point is, we both had a great day. Let's see if we can keep it up. And today we got everything on the card. I'm even previewing MMA with Andreas Hale later on today, and I have one pick in MMA this upcoming MMA that I'm really liking. I'll give that one in the show. I'll just start off the show. How about that right now with a pick that I'm thinking that I'm liking. Later on today, catch it. I'll be previewing UFC 119 with Andreas Hale. Machida and Brunson over 2.5 at plus money. Come on, man. Do you follow MMA at all? Or
I do.
Yeah. Come on, man. Machida's 39 years old. You know, similar to Brunson's fight against Silva, which went the distance. Brunson's going to be cautious. Watch the preview with Andreas Hale. We'll get into that. I'm sure Andreas Hale will agree with me. Over 2.5 at plus money. Give me a break, dude. That's a good bet, Jim the Bag.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
I'm happy. I'm pretty excited. I'm feeling good. It feels much better to sit here in front of the camera and when you're coming off a winning day.
Oh,
coming off a shitty day.
So much better.
So much better. So much. Everything's cooler. You know, things aren't so tight. Things aren't so tense. You know, this is what it's like. It's the difference between being like the haves and the have-nots. You know? I
slept like a baby last night.
Sucks being a have-not in life. Sucks being a broke motherfucker. But when you're one of the haves, as we were today, oh, it's much better. All right, so let's enough with the jokes and the self-congratulations, because we got a huge card today. We got everything on the card. We got to get into it. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start with how about let's start with college football? Is that okay? Or with
That's great.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with college football, because I have not given any college football picks as of yet on the week. I have made a bunch of bets, but because of last week's debacle for me, I'm being careful and cautious with the picks that I am giving out publicly in college football, which maybe I shouldn't do, but whatever. And I haven't had a lot of time to research everything in depth. But today we got 4 games, and there are at least 2 bets that I think I'm going to give officially in college football and add to my official slate of picks here. The first one, let's start with the Stanford-Oregon game, right? It's Oregon State. An interesting game here, right, Jim the Bag? Stanford obviously has eyes towards the Pac-12 championship and the college playoffs and everything. Oregon State clearly resurgent after the coaching change, and I don't think that's not for real. One huge issue here is that Bryce Love, I'm seeing a game time decision. I don't know if we have any information on that, but Stanford's stud running back had an ankle issue in his last game, and I'm seeing game time decision for him.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, the Beavers cannot stop anybody.
Right. So whether Love plays or not, though, I'm assuming that even if he does play, they're going to be cautious with him, because Stanford has designs on a season bigger than just a margin win over Oregon State. So I'm assuming they're going to limit him even if he does play. Whether Love plays or not, I'm liking the under in this one. I know that Oregon State, since the coaching change, are very explosive offensively in their running game. Great job, Oregon State. But I feel like in this spot, in this game, Stanford's going to want to shorten the game. Oregon State's going to want to shorten the game. Both teams will be a little bit conservative offensively for various reasons, and I'm going to take the under on this one. And I did bet it, and I'm going to add it. It could lose, but again, I bet it. So if it does lose, it's not a bet that I didn't make. 59 or 59.5. I would have liked the opener at 60, but I will take under 59.5 minus 107 at Pinnacle. What do you think, Jim?
I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
The Beavers allow 200.1 yards rushing per game. So, even if Love isn't able to play a lot, they're going to move the ball on this Beavers team. But when you're running the ball nonstop, the clock is ticking, and the under looks Great.
Yeah, under 59.5, minus 107. As far as the side's concerned, it's very interesting. I would probably lean towards Oregon State at 20.5 or 21, even though they're outmatched in terms of talent. This is clearly a resurgent Oregon State team, and Stanford is, again, I think we're going to see, it might be a 20-point win by Stanford, but I don't know if I have the balls to give that one as an official pick, but it would definitely be a lean Oregon State plus 21. Similar situation. Can I jump right into my second pick, Jim?
Sure, but I just agree with you there because the Cardinal will likely be looking ahead at Washington.
You mean agree with me just for shits and giggles? You're actually going to add it on?
I am not going to add it on. No.
I mean, it's questionable because Oregon State, obviously offense. I mean, if Stanford wants to run the ball all day on Oregon State and put up, 50 points, they can. I just don't think they're getting motivated. Similar situation, similar type of deal in the Toledo Ball State game. I'm liking this one less, but still liking it enough to give it as a pick and bet it, which I did. Toledo and Ball State. Obviously, Toledo has a huge game next week against Northern Illinois. Ball State having all kinds of issues offensively, scored 12 points total in the last 3 games. Injuries at quarterback, questions there. So this one also, I'm leaning to the under, and similarly, even more so than Stanford. If Toledo wanted to put up 50 on their own against Ball State, they pretty much guaranteed could, but I don't think that they necessarily will. Ball State does have a great pass rusher. They have some nice things on defense, and just in general, I am thinking that the under here is a nice play. What was that? What was that ding?
That was a congratulatory text message.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. Good. All right. So Ball State on the under 56.5 minus 107 at Pinnacle right now. It does concern me a little bit that the sharp books, Pinnacle and the Greek, have a 56.5, while a lot of other places are hanging 56. So that's not a great sign. And again, I'm liking this one less than the Stanford Oregon State under, but I'm still liking it, and I'll take it. I think we'll see something relatively similar to Toledo's last game against Central Michigan, which Toledo won comfortably. It was low scoring. They won by 20. And here again, similar to the Stanford Oregon State game, I would actually have a slight lean towards Ball State getting all those points. Not sure if I want to give that one as a pick, though. But definitely the Toledo Ball State under 56.5. Not liking it as much as the Stanford under, but still liking it. And yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Jim, do you have a pick on college football at all that you want to give today?
No, I don't have a pick on college football. I think that Ball State doesn't have a home field advantage at all. We just watched Central Michigan put 56 points on them. The Rockets could score as easy as they want to, but you're right. Will they care to put up 50 points? I'm not sure.
Huge game against Northern Illinois next week. We will be previewing that one. Let me see. I'm looking at some of the comments here just to see what people are talking about. Ooh! People talking about the Kelly criterion. Wow, advanced discussion. Do you know what the Kelly criterion is here, Jim?
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you use it? No.
I don't, no.
I get it. That's just a good shot there, Jim. No, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Luis Chavez Miranda saying, step your mouse game up. Yeah, I know. I hear you on that one, brother, but my mouse game is like 50th priority at this point in the sports betting season. All right, so yes. And Lake Show Zoe saying, Pistol Pete, was Houston your official pick last night? No. It was Jim's official pick, though, last night, and Jim has a great record in the short time he's been doing MLB in these videos, so awesome. Luis Chavez Miranda. All right, great. So, let me see. All right, All right, Bo knows. All right, okay, excellent. All right, so I'm on Stanford, Oregon State under. I'm on Toledo, Ball State under. I'd be leaning Ball State, leaning Oregon State. Then the other 2 games, I have leans on those as well. The Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan game, I would also have a lean to the under and a lean to Northern Illinois there. It's just not a good spot for Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan is a good team, which is why the line is relatively low. Northern Illinois is a great team, but Eastern Michigan coming off an OT loss at home, now going up against Northern Illinois. Blasted Bowling Green last week, and I like Northern Illinois. And actually, I didn't bet it at 8, and I did bet it when it hit 7. A little bit surprised, not super surprised that it went down to 7, but I have a lean on that one, and also a lean to the under as well. Feels like it's going to be a low-scoring game, no matter what. And Northern Illinois obviously has a great defense, and that one also went up a little bit, so I would be leaning to the under on that one. And then the South Alabama Georgia State game is even tougher. I'd have a slight might lean to South Alabama, although Georgia State definitely has talent, is better than what they've shown recently. They have a nice quarterback to a wide receiver tandem that can put up points. So, but I think the schedule favors South Alabama. South Alabama clearly has momentum with a couple of good wins. So, I would lean to South Alabama, but not enough to want to make it a pick. And the Eastern Michigan and Northern Illinois bets, though, I am kind of liking those as much enough that I want to make them a pick. You know what? I will. I'll make both of them picks. What the hell? I think it's a really good spot for Northern Illinois. It's just not a good spot for Eastern Michigan, and I think it's going to be low scoring. So I will throw on all these 4 picks to my official record, even though I haven't given any so far in college football this week. Northern Illinois -7, -106 at Pinnacle, and the under 46.5 -107. Also at Pinnacle. So those are 2 bets that I'm adding on there. Northern Illinois -7 and Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois under 46.5. And very tempting to throw on Ball State because I think it's going to be a 30-10 type game, just like the Central Michigan game. Very tempting to take Oregon State at 21 because Oregon State's going to give everything they have here. Stanford is not. They're going to give everything they have until they're up by 2 touchdowns, and then they're going to give 2/3 of what they have. So tempting to take Oregon State. That's a definite lean. Tempting to take Ball State. That's a definite lean. But I will, I know if I give both of those, at least one of them will win, and probably both of them will win. But I guess I'll hold off for now. Just 4 picks. Don't want to get too crazy on this.
I think your leans are in the right place. I like USA in this game versus Georgia State as well. They're a completely different team with Dallas Davis. And if you use the Troy games as an example, you have to like South Alabama. And then with Eastern Michigan and Northern Illinois, I think you're on the right track. I mean, Northern Illinois Marcus Childers is looking very good. 7 touchdowns, 1 pick. So.
And it's mostly just that because I did have Eastern Michigan last week, as the Sharps did, and they pushed on the 3, covered the 3.5, didn't cover the 2.5. But it's more of a down spot for Eastern Michigan than anything else. So here we go. We have some nice comments. Michael Ervolina, the bag, solid bounce back yesterday. You guys kick ass. Watch you every day. Thanks so much, Michael Ervolina. Joe Kim saying that room needs soundproofing. Yeah, listen, that's not. We are handicappers. That's it. That's where. Not our job. Not our job. Whose job is it to fix the soundproofing industry? I don't even know. Not only is it not my job, it's not my job to know whose job it is. So I can't even answer that.
No, that is a perfect answer.
Yeah, my job to give nice analysis and winning picks, which I have done, at least in 2017. Maybe not necessarily before, but this year I have definitely done. All right, let's see. What else do you got here? All right, so do you want to give any official picks in college football, or should we move on, Jim?
I'm ready to move on.
All right, let's move on to NFL, which is a very interesting game tonight. Miami against Baltimore. Miami, of course, resurgent since Moore took over at quarterback, right? And there's a reason he's a career backup, but has some life to him. Knows the Miami system. Feels like against subpar or mediocre teams, he's going to be okay. And Baltimore is a big question mark here. Strong defense as always, but ton of question marks on offense and injuries all over the field for Baltimore. I did bet this game 2 ways. I did bet Miami when it was +3. It's now +3 still, but it's getting a little bit juiced towards Miami. I did also bet the under. I just think that it's a little bit obvious and it's a low total, but I think that Baltimore's issues at receiver combined with Flacco's issues, combined with just Miami starting more and everything, makes me think that the under is a decent play here. So I bet both Miami and Baltimore, and probably the implied play there would be Baltimore on the team total under at 20. Jim, you have a pick on this one? What's your take on this game?
I do have a pick. I'm so thankful that the Matt Moore era is finally here. I'm so thankful. It's clear that the Ravens never overcame the Yanda loss. They've now lost 3 guards and a center. The Ravens have no receivers. Flacco's going to be under duress. Kiko and Cam Wake, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Canadian Football League with the BC Lions, my favorite player in the NFL. And Tunsil will be back to offer some protection. I'm making an official pick on the Dolphins +3 as well.
Okay, +3, -110 at the Greek and a bunch of other places. It's starting to get juiced. Pinnacle 113, Intertops 115, DSI 115. So a lot of places are at 115 right now, but the Greek has 110. So Jim likes Miami +3, -110. And I would agree with that one. I'm liking Miami. I'm liking the under. And I guess that means that probably I should take the Baltimore team total under, because it's possible that Miami could ramp it up offensively. It's also possible that, as we've seen with defensive scores and whatever, that the game could get over. But maybe the best bet is just the Baltimore team total under at 20.
You know, I'm not sold on the. I'm not sold on it now. I think that the Ravens are going to have a tough time scoring, and I do know that the Dolphins are going to run, and that's going to help the under. You know, the clock will be ticking. The 37.5. These Thursday night games are questionable because teams don't have their game plan ready, and when they don't have their game plan ready, I always feel like a few more points are scored when they don't have enough time to put in the right defense.
Yeah.
So. I see the under. I can see it happening. My issue is Thursday nights. It is my biggest issue.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, then let's just quickly touch on our record. Jim, in the short time here, even though you've had some bumps in football, overall, your official picks in football in this show, 8-7, up a half unit. That's okay. That's fine.
It's okay.
That's fine. And my NFL record, 9-6 on the year, up 2 units. That's fine. And of course, I have a Tampa Bay -2 going as an official pick. Jim has just added Miami +3, and I have to decide what I like here. I'm liking Miami. I'm liking the under and the Baltimore team total under. I could just give all 3 of those if I wanted to. I'm just a little bit nervous that, you know what, I'll just stick with one basic solid play. I'll take the Ravens team total under. I don't have a team total here. Actually, Jim, can you check the team totals right now, or not really? Is that
on Pinnacle?
Yeah, you can. And I don't know if Pinnacle has them right now, but I'm assuming it's 20. I'll just check what the team total is at Pinnacle and Heritage, and I'll take the best one out of Pinnacle and Heritage after the show, and you'll just have to trust me on it. But it should be about 20. Ravens team total under, and it should be about 20 points, and I think that's a pretty okay bet. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I think it's an okay bet. We have lots of talk on the chat about it. Tomore says, I think the total is tough. Flacco's much better at home. Macklin and Perriman will be back. Moore isn't horrible.
Macklin and Perriman are back. I thought that they were questionable or probably out. Are they not? If he's saying they're back, then they're back.
Tomore is saying they're back, but I thought they were questionable as well. And then lots of Michael Irvalina likes the over in the game. He thinks the under is too obvious, and he likes to fade the obvious bets on Thursdays, and I get that. Yeah, Michael Maeda likes the Baltimore team total a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna look. If it loses, that's luxury. If it loses, I'll still be up. I'll still be up a unit in NFL overall on the year. So I'll take the Ravens team total under on this one. It should be about 20. And yeah, it's not great if I was assuming that Macklin and Perriman were going to be out. If they're back, that's not great. And I'm assuming that anytime I'm assuming a player who's questionable and then plays is 100%. So you know. It's possible that they will be limited, but I'm assuming that if they're playing, they're 100%. You know.
Yeah. The Tomore isn't. He's going to try to verify it right now. Joe Kim's with you on the team total Ravens. Michael Maeda. So,
listen. If it loses, it loses. But you know, Baltimore has clearly been having issues offensively, and Miami's defense has some life to them right now. I mean, they've been playing better. So you know, adding it all up. Look, obviously with special teams and offensive scores, any team can go, you know, over 20 in the NFL. But I'm going to take that one. I'm liking it enough to make it an official pick. And Jim the Bag on Miami +3. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Jim's all excited. All right, so that covers that. Let's see, what else do we got? NBA or NHL? Which one would you like to cover first, Jim?
Why don't we cover the NBA?
Okay, NBA. Let's see. NBA overall in the NBA. Jim, your record after last night's impressive performance in the NBA: 15-10. Average line -104, up 5 units. Very nice, Jim. Plus 19%. My record after last night's nice performance: 9-6, plus 2.5 units, plus 16% ROI. My leans, though, that I do track: 25-12, plus 12 units, plus 30% ROI.
Wow.
Yeah, last night, look where all my leans were. Charlotte +2, winner. Charlotte under, winner. OKC under, winner. Memphis Dallas over, winner. Cleveland Brooklyn under, winner.
Lakers Wizards under.
Lakers, you know what? And that one isn't even in my leans.
It was one of your leans.
I know. That one isn't even in here. And I guess I have a couple extras because I added the first halves in the Charlotte and OKC games, which were borderline plays as well. And even the Minnesota, I was like, you know, I don't know if they're going to win the game, but the first quarter they came out, won the first quarter, and then S the bet. So overall, we're doing very well. And let's move on to what we got in the NBA today. Some interesting stuff. Boston and Milwaukee is a revenge game for Boston. The second game of the Dallas-Memphis game. I guess let's start with Boston and Milwaukee. Obviously, Milwaukee is a pretty damn impressive team, but they're just a little one-trick pony-ish, right? Just a little bit.
Well, I think they're good defensively. So that I know it's the Antetokounmpo show,
yeah,
but their defense is solid, and so that makes them a little more. But I'm very concerned with this game. I don't know if you guys know, but as part of the 50th anniversary celebration, the Bucks are playing in their old home. They're playing in the Milwaukee Arena. It's crazy. So it has a real bright court. It may not help the Bucks being in unfamiliar surroundings.
Yeah. And also Boston is playing with revenge. They got beat on their own home court, early on in the season when they were dealing with the Hayward stuff. So they would like nothing more. They would like nothing more than to go into this 50th anniversary thing with Milwaukee and come away with a win. So I'm thinking that Boston plus the points might be the play here.
On the talk, they're all on the first half over right now. I think that Boston might be the play as well. Brown and Tatum are just beasts. They're only getting better and better. They combined for 45 points against the Knicks. But you're right. They are angry. They are angry with what the Bucks did to them. Tomore comes in here and says, I like Boston. One of my strongest angles when a team loses at home. Then again, plays them again in a short period of time, a revenge spot. I think you're right. Now, I'm not going to make it an official pick. I think this playing in this strange old stadium is weird. But you're getting +4, and I see why you would want to do it.
Yeah, I will take this one, even though it is a weird game, as you said. I will take it. I think that Boston has enough depth to justify a play here. Wish I was getting a few more points, but it's +4, -103, and I will make that one an official play. It just feels like Milwaukee is a little bit like the Louisville Cardinals of the NBA. They've got Lamar Jackson and then just not a whole lot of the supporting cast, not quite as good as you might want it to be, right?
Right. And Vitalis says, did you just say revenge game just like the Falcons versus the Patriots? How'd that work out? Well, it worked out great for me because I had the Patriots. So I don't know why you bring up that point.
And also, that's football, right? That's NFL.
The Celtics have their backs against the wall right now. And they were beaten on their home court, and now they're getting more comfortable with Hayward out of the lineup. I think this is a good spot, and I'm concerned about making it, but I do think this is a good spot.
All right, well, I'll take it. Boston +4, -103. Next game that's interesting is Dallas and Memphis. Of course, the second on a home-and-home back-to-back. Dallas won. Surprised a lot of people yesterday, and I had the Dallas team total over, which lost. I tried to get a little cute there. I like the over in the game, but I was worried about Dallas not being able to hold their own in scoring. Turned out it was Memphis who couldn't hold their own in the scoring. The game did go over, but I had to eat an L on my official record with the team total over. Now, though, I guess if it feels like Memphis would be a great play here, they're given 8 points, maybe Memphis on the first half or something, or not, Jim. What do you think?
Well, I was very thankful that I stayed away from this game. The only better move, of course, would have been to take the Mavericks. I didn't get a chance to watch this game, unfortunately. So if anybody did watch it, I have some questions. It sure seemed like Dennis Smith Jr. or Conley had a very tough time getting the better of Dennis Smith Jr. Now, Chandler Parsons hasn't been cleared for back-to-back, sat out last night. I think he will be useful in this game. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of threes. I just think he could be very useful. I like the Grizzlies here. I think that it's a good revenge spot, and I don't like the 8 points though. So,
right? Yeah. I was thinking about the under. It's now a 198.5. It was the other game went over, but this one now has a higher total than yesterday, and I think now I'm going to zag here when I zigged yesterday or whatever, and leaning under 198.5. What do you think about that one, Jim?
I think that's a good spot.
What's your take on Memphis? Because Memphis supposedly is now going to play a higher-paced brand of basketball, but I got burned on taking the over with them against Houston. Is Memphis going to be a team where you're looking to bet unders, overs, or neither one right now?
I was afraid to bet last night's game because they weren't the 3-0 team that we were watching, and I don't know what they are really, because we both thought they were going to be much more offensive, and I got burned on an over early in the year. The jury is still out on how these Grizzlies are going to play. I'm a huge Gasol fan. He looked awesome yesterday, and he's going to look awesome again tonight. But I just don't know. It's a tough spot.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take both. I'm kind of liking the under here. I'm going to take both the first half and the full game. So I am going to double up, which can be risky. I did this in baseball season last year and got myself a little bit behind the 8 ball around this point in the baseball season by doubling up and tripling up on a bunch of plays that I thought I liked or did like and then got burned on it. But I think I'm liking this one enough to double it up. Under 198.5 minus 107 on the full game, and the first half is under 100 minus 115. That's at Bookmaker, BetOnline, SportsBetting.ag, and a few other places. First half under 100 minus 115, and the first half and the full game under 198.5 minus 107. If I have to eat 2 losses on that one, I'll be mad at myself, but I'll take it, Jim. What do you think about that?
I think those are good plays, and I am going to double up on this game.
Really?
I am, yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm going to take the minus 4.5 first half line, and I'm also going to take the minus 8.
Oh,
I think the Grizzlies rested players late in the game and during the game, knowing that they had the home matchup tonight. Chandler Parsons has to play well tonight and step up. And I just think the Grizzlies looked really bad, and I expect Conley to have a much better game plan for Dennis Smith Jr. He said he watched a lot of tape, but he was blown away at how quick Dennis Smith was. So I'm going to double up on this game.
So maybe Memphis will come out explosive offensively here. My under might not be a great play then.
Well, I still think the Mavericks are going to have a tough time scoring.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully I won't get too burned on that. Jim the Bag is going to take Memphis on the first half minus 4.5, minus 110, and then on the full game minus 8, minus 105. That's at Pinnacle. First half 4.5. Minus 110 and 8 minus 105. All right. Hopefully I don't get. Hopefully it's not one of those situations where I had 10 leans yesterday, 9 of them cashed, and now I come in today, give all my leans, and they lose, which has happened to me many, many times. But all right, Atlanta-Chicago is an interesting game. Atlanta bad, but game. Given effort. They seem like they have a pretty good team, attitude, despite the fact that they're not going to be winning games this year. And Chicago is Chicago. We know that they have a lot of issues, but tend to be, getting a few too many points, at least so far this year. Now they're a favorite, though. What do you have to say about that one, Jim?
It's a tough game to figure out. It's clear that the Hawks have a good vibe in their dressing room. They're a terrible roster, and dealing with a ton of injuries, but they're playing with a lot of heart. They went on a 33-12 run in the third quarter against the Heat to tie the game up at 77. Now, the Bulls look really good against the Cavs. And Markkanen, 5 first-half three-pointers. Justin Holiday had 25. Now, they may have Chris Dunn back tonight, and he will be very helpful. This is a tough game to figure out. I see why the Bulls are favored, but when you're dealing with just I think there's a lot of volatility dealing with these two teams.
Yeah, so maybe Atlanta on the money line at plus 137 at Pinnacle might be the best way to go. That's a little tempting. I'm not going to take it, but that's a little tempting, right?
Not
really.
I don't think so. I just can't trust this roster with Schroeder out of the lineup. They have Ilyasova, Plumlee, Bembry are all out of the lineup. It's just, it's hard to have a confident read on these two rosters because they're bad.
Okay. Other 2 games are the Clippers in Portland and New Orleans, Sacramento. I didn't look too much into them. Jim, let's hear your thoughts on that. Tell us if you have a pick on either of those games while I scan the comments and see if there's any interesting comments about what we're saying here.
I have a pick on both games.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I am taking the over in the Pelicans at Kings. DeMarcus Cousins is going back. It looks like Anthony Davis won't play, but it's not sure. With DeMarcus Cousins coming back to Sacramento, he's going to have a monster game. He's going to play very well, but I think the Kings are going to step up. I was going to take the Kings. I had the Kings, but I'm going to step off of that and just take the over. De'Aaron Fox has provided spark and looks good, but George Hill needs to play better, and I expect him to. It was nice to see Bogdanovic make a season debut. 12 points, 25 minutes. I think he's going to be a good player. And I really like Labissiere and Cauley Stein, and I think they'll play big and tough and try and really, really care about this matchup against Cousins. And I think there's going to be points. I'm taking the over.
Okay. Well, it's 206 market wide, but Heritage, which we do use, has 205.5, so we'll give you over 205.5 minus 110. How do you feel about that?
Love it.
Okay, and some interesting stuff. Cleveland Steamer, the Cleveland Steam R says anyone against the Bulls is a solid play. Not a bad, but I think especially when they're a favorite. That's my sense on it.
You know, that's a good angle.
It's when they're a huge underdog that they might be a little bit undervalued, but especially as a favorite. And the Hawks-Bulls game, Joe Kim saying that it would go over. I did actually bet that one at 200.5. I missed the opener of 199.5, but I did bet that one at 200.5, and now it's up to 201.5 or 202 or 202.5. That's actually a play that I was thinking about, Atlanta and the Bulls over. What do you think about that one, Jim?
These rosters, it's a tough thing for me to have a read on them.
Yeah.
But I think that the Bulls are going to try, especially if Chris Dunn is in the lineup. I think the Bulls are going to try to have a fast pace.
Yeah, and the first half over is tempting as well. It's only 98 minus 115 at the bookmaker. Intertop says 98 minus 110. So yeah, I'd be leaning first half over and full game over in Atlanta, Chicago myself, and I did bet it at 200.5. But I'm going to keep that one as a lean right now. Okay, and then in the other game, you got a pick. What's that?
I do. I'm going to go against the Clippers again. I know it didn't work out last game. They looked quite good against the Jazz. I think the real problem right now is they only had 4 guards on their roster before the injury to Teodosic. So they're playing their starters a ton. And that's going to catch up to them. I know it's only early in the season, but it's going to catch up to them. And the Blazers have a ton of depth. And so they win by 10 points over a Pelicans team without Anthony Davis, while Lillard had a completely off night. Lillard went 3 for 16 for 13 points. It just shows, because Evan Turner and Ed Davis have looked great off the bench. This Blazers team has a ton of depth. And when I'm getting a -2, is it still at -2 with the Blazers at home? I think that's a great spot.
No. 2.5 or 3.
I'll take 2.5.
Okay, at Pinnacle, a -2.5, minus 113, though.
That's fine.
Okay, Portland, -2.5, minus 113 at Pinnacle. Well, certainly the market seems to agree with your initial assessment. It did open at 1.5. Now it's up to 2.5 or 3. So yeah, hopefully, I hope for your sake it doesn't land on 2, because that would really annoy me. But all right, so Portland is a play of yours. I'm looking here. There's one guy here in chat who really likes Milwaukee. Who is that guy? Tony Suave. He likes Milwaukee. Had a bunch of comments about that one, saying that Greek Freak's going to show up tonight, etc., all that. So yeah, I can look. If the Greek Freak puts the team on his back, just like Lamar Jackson with Louisville, and they cover any spread, it's not a surprise. It's just Boston is a deep team with some revenge here. Not totally confident in what Giannis has around him. So I think it's a play. I picked it. It might lose. All right. So
I like the money line on that better than the 4. I'd rather get all the extra cake.
Yeah, you might be right there. Yeah, but it's just, it could also go down to I'll just take the 4, and I'm just sitting there. All right, so I'm just gonna stick with that one. Tony Suave also liking Atlanta, which I would agree with. And yeah, probably if you take the money line on both Atlanta and Boston, one of those cashes probably at plus money. But all right, so to sum up, I'm on Boston +4 minus 103. The Dallas-Memphis first half under 100 and the full game under 198.5. Jim is on Memphis first half -4.5 and the full game -8. New Orleans-Sacramento over 205.5 -110, and Portland -2.5 -113.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Jim's all smiley. Jim has confidence. Nice to see Jimmy the Bag with confidence and happiness. It's more just the happiness in your face. I could see.
Yesterday was a tough day.
Oh, yesterday was bad. All right, so let's move on now to NHL, Jim. And this NHL, you're like who's that team that keeps getting what's the NHL team there's one NHL, is it Pittsburgh? They win like 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, then they lose 7-1. Is it Pittsburgh who does that?
That was Antti Niemi's fault.
Right.
Antti Niemi's fault, who was just picked up off of waivers by the Florida Panthers. So whenever the Panthers give Reimer a break, we know to hammer, to fade Niemi and the Panthers.
So in sports, that's fine if you have 8 very close wins and then 2 blowout losses, your record is 8-2. In betting, that's not the way it goes. Although that would be an interesting way to think for a book to offer. If a book offered you make 9 picks, and if you come out positive for the day, your bet wins. If you come out negative for the day, your bet loses.
That would be cool. Very cool.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, I like that.
We should start our own book and offer that, Jim.
I like it.
Yeah, but that is not the way betting goes for now. And so, Jim, when you have a bunch of 3-2 and 4-2 NHL days, and you're just looking like someone who has a great read on NHL, and then you have a 1-7 day, it ruins everything. So, Jim, I love your analysis in general, but do you mind if I read the overall records on the
please do.
Okay. In NHL, my record is a 20 24-16. That's not counting all the pushes. I just throw the pushes out, which maybe I shouldn't do, but I throw them out for because I don't want to screw the average lineup, but it also messes with the ROI. But so my picks that have not pushed, 24-16 plus 10 units plus 23% ROI.
That's gorgeous. Ooh. That's now, impressive.
Jim, and I would say many of those picks are influenced by your research, which is great. But your official record and your official picks in this show so far, 26-30, minus 5 units, minus 8% ROI. But you're coming off a great day where you had 2 puck lines and a few more of those days, and you'll be even, Jim.
Yeah, I have no problem with I mean, obviously I don't like it, right. But 20, is it 26-30 or 25?
26-30.
26-30, down 5 units. I can make that up.
Yes, you can. And as we've said from day one, there's been just something a little bit weird about your season, because you have gotten a couple of you've gotten a lot more unlucky.
I'm 1-7, 1-7 in overtime or shootouts.
Yeah. So that probably is something that will even out a bit. All right, so we got a whole bunch of games tonight. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. Why don't you start, Jim? What do you like here?
Well, I'm hoping I've got some leans that I'm hoping that I can figure out with you and with
I'm not the one you want to be asking about this shit.
Well, you're looking very good in the NHL so far, so
right.
I'm going to need to break some of these things down with each other.
Okay.
But I can give you a first move, and what I see is an easy one. And I shouldn't now. I'm jinxed it, but.
No, you did not.
The Tampa Bay Lightning are 8-1-1 with the number 2 offense, the number 4 defense, and the number 1 power play in the league. They are 5-0 at home. Victor Hedman is not satisfied. He's called out the team. If this team stays healthy, they have the best shot to win the Stanley Cup. They've beaten the Red Wings 8 straight times. The Red Wings are 0-4-1 in their last 5. They've only scored 9 goals, allowed 18 over that span. Now, they are getting some help. They're getting Danny DeKeyser back, which will help on the back end. And Andreas Athanasiou just signed, and he's a really good young player. But, and that's a but, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning on the puck line, minus 1.5. I just think the Lightning are a very good hockey team, and while they're healthy, I should hammer them every game. It doesn't make sense that I'm not doing it, and I beat myself up for not taking them when they destroyed Carolina on the road. I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore. I'm taking the Bolts minus 1.5.
Okay, plus 147 is the best line we can give you right now for Pinnacle. This is one of the games that in my notes I said it scares me. I'm staying way off it. Obviously, Tampa Bay is rolling. Obviously, they're great, but the line is just too high, Jim. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
You know, I got plus 130 on the Jackets, and I wasn't comfortable with that line.
Right.
I'm getting a better line here, and I'm going to take it.
No, but the Jackets one I kind of agreed with you on. I just thought it was a little bit too high, and I like the over. This one, I don't have a read on the total. I think it could go either way on the total. And you might be right. You might be right, and definitely, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the game scares me. So
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear
so
you.
I'm not playing it.
Athanasiou is going to help this team, but probably not in his first game. The Red Wings just clearly are scuffling. They're not scoring, and they've lost to the Lightning 8 straight times. I'm comfortable with the minus 1.5 and plus 147.
Okay.
I'm going to hammer this on my own personal action that I will tweet out later.
Okay. A lot of interesting games. I don't even know where to go now. Okay, let's go to Carolina and Toronto, right?
Sure.
Obviously, this is a big bounce back spot for Toronto. They got Carolina also got beat down in their last game. So Carolina can wait a minute. Did Toronto lose their last game? They did, right?
Toronto is 7-2-0. I believe they won their last game. I'll have to double check that.
Team with a bounce back. Maybe it's a home game. Anyway, at any rate, Toronto has an extra rest day. Just looks like a good spot for them. Carolina got beat down in their last game, and I got to be thinking that in this spot, considering the line, that the Toronto puck line here is a decent play. Not overthinking it, and a shot with the over as well. What do you think, Jim?
I've not handled the Leafs well this year, and it upsets me. The Canes just lost badly to the Lightning 5-1, and they're 28th in goals for, averaging 2.4 a game, and they're playing against a team that averages 4.4 a game. Right. It's clear that the Leafs special teams are clicking. They're 4th in the power play at 28.9%, 8th in penalty killing at 85.3%. Yes, and Small Thrill just came in here and said, Toronto just beat the LA Kings, 3-2. That's right. And that was the game where I had them on the puck line and lost it in the third. Van Riemsdyk left the Kings game with an injury, but Babcock thinks he'll be in the lineup. I'm not handling the Leafs well, and I'm going to stay away from it. and I feel like it's kind of a very soft move on my part, but I'm not. It's just not working, and I'm going to leave the game alone.
The word we use for that in this show is pussy, not soft.
I almost said pussy. Pussy, but I changed it for soft.
Listen,
but,
listen. You get fear versus greed in all investing and in sports betting. I am going to take Toronto here on the -1 line. The money line part of that will be -150. The puck line part of that will be +185. Both of that is from the Greek. So you got small plus money here on Toronto -1 over Carolina. I just feel like there's a talent discrepancy here, and no reason to believe that Carolina shouldn't pull it out. I'm sorry, Toronto shouldn't pull it out, and not overthink it. I'm also leaning over on that one. And what do you think? Carolina just has a problem scoring, and if they get beat, they get beat. It's 6, so it's not a 5.5 line.
Well, I think that Jeff Skinner always plays well in his hometown. I think the Hurricanes actually have a better defense than the Leafs. So, with all that considered, I just don't have people are hammering this on the chat, saying how good the Leafs are, but I'm going to stay with my.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's the line. If it were sitting here at -210, I probably wouldn't be on it. But at just -150 with the -1 volatility baked in, I will take that one. Next game, I guess let's just go down a chronological order. Arizona against the Rangers. Now this one, I suggested that maybe Arizona might be a good play as a big dog against the Islanders. You disagreed with that. You took the Islanders on the puck line and you cashed with that one, Jim. Still though, now I'm thinking that Arizona might be even stronger as a good play on the road against the Rangers. Arizona obviously not a good team, but I mean, look at the Rangers, dude, right? I mean, how are the Rangers this big of a favorite against anyone?
I agree with you completely. Is this the spot? Is this the spot for Coyotes' first win? I also like the over here. These are two bad, small teams. They're combined 2-14-3. Andre Pavelec is starting in goal for the Rangers. Pavelec has looked bad. 0-2 with a 3.76 goals against average, .860 save percentage. And I said it over and over again, trading one of your best centers for a 7th overall draft pick is what rebuilding teams do. And rebuilding teams don't sign a guy like Shattenkirk to $6.6 million a year. I just don't understand what they were doing in the offseason. Stepan is looking okay, and he's finding some chemistry with Max Domi. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists on that line with Clayton Keller. Tocchet says that the people in his analytics department say they're playing good. And I think people are lying to your face, Rick Tocchet. I don't know if Louis Domingue is going to be in goal or Aiden Hill. Now, Aiden Hill's looked quite a bit better. And Domingue was in for this last game, the 5-3 shellacking. Well, it wasn't that bad, but where Tavares got the hat trick. I like it. And I wanted to talk this out. I like the over. I'm going to take the over.
That was a lean for me as well. I'm just going to take the side, though. But, all right, so you want the over to be 6 -105.
Yes, and I am considering taking the Coyotes. And how are you going to handle taking them?
Well, I'm taking them.
With what, on the -1?
The way I'm going to handle it is by taking them at the best line I can find, which would be +165 at the Greek. And, of course, how do I know that? SBRodds.com, the best free line shopping service in the world. SBRodds.com. Arizona on the money line, +165. I'm adding that one on, Jim.
I think that's a good move, and I am only going to take the over.
Okay, over 6 -105. That's a line at Pinnacle, BetOnline, SportsBetting.ag, and a few other places. Okay, now let's move on. Winnipeg, Pittsburgh, another big favorite line here that I'm not quite sure is justified. Winnipeg has been off for a while, almost a week. Pitt got a nice win against Edmonton last game. Pitt is a good team, of course, but here also not quite seeing this big of a favorite line justified. Maybe so. I'm not liking this quite as much as Arizona, but I think I'm still liking it. Winnipeg at +155. What's up with that?
I think you're right. And the last time we had 2 dogs of this nature, and I said out loud, if just one of them hits, you do well.
Yeah.
And they both hit. So I might come back to both of these games. Now, I was shocked. I don't know about you guys, but I was shocked when I was researching this game. Evgeny Malkin, who, if you guys remember, fought Blake Wheeler last time these teams met. Malkin said that the Jets are the most physical team in the league. And that caught me by surprise. Now, any team with Dustin Byfuglien on it is a physical team, sure, but that caught me by surprise. The Jets have had last 5 days off. I don't think that helps. I know that it's good to be fresh, but 5 days is a lot of days off.
Because the speed can sometimes, take a period or two to get back.
If they were off for 3 days, I bet you I would have taken the Jets in this spot. But also, I've faded the Penguins I think 3 times this year, only won once only won once when Niemi was starting his last game against the Lightning. But in saying all this, the Pens just lost Schultz to a concussion. He joins Matt Hunwick on the sidelines. Matt also has a concussion. The Pens D does not have a lot of depth. I think this is a really good spot for the Jets.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this one at +1. I did that with Vancouver the other day, and that one wound up cashing, and I would have had an extra, almost 3/4 of a unit if I had taken them just to win. And this one, I might be doing the same thing if they win, but I think I'm going to take it a little bit safe. If it goes to OT, then I'm guaranteed to not take a loss. The money line part of that will be +155 at BetDSI, and the puck line part of that will be -184 at Pinnacle right now. So that's a small small favorite line for Winnipeg +1 against Pittsburgh.
It's interesting. In the chat, we have a Winnipegger. He goes by Demons Are Real. Says, I am a Winnipegger and I am betting on the Penguins. Can you add to that? Can you give us some more?
Anytime I hear something like that, that makes me think that guy's right. Anytime someone says like, I am from this place, I follow this team day in and day out, no matter what their opinion is, I take it very seriously, and I take it even a little more seriously if they're betting against their team.
And if they have the name Demons Are Real, I take it even more seriously. But can you please add to that comment?
Yeah.
We'd like
more
more
information. All right, I'll hold off on that one. I'm taking that off my official pick. No, that is enough to put, because it was borderline anyway. And when I hear a comment like that, I'm holding off. I was also leaning under on this one. I like the under in the Pittsburgh Edmonton game and didn't have the balls to give it. But Pittsburgh can be kind of a modest scoring, and and of course Winnipeg's goalie you like, right?
I do. I like Hellebuck.
Yeah.
Cleveland Steamer comes in and says, Jets play a heavy, lazy game and are prone to take too many penalties because of it. Don't overthink. Take the Penguins -1.5 in regulation. Wow. Well, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. But at this point, I'm going to stay off both the Jets and the Coyotes. And
now, what about the under at 6.5? Is this one of those games that should be that high of a total?
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should not be that high of a total.
But what?
Well, with the Jets' rest, are they going to play sloppy after not playing for 5 games?
It's just going to be like 4-zip after like a period and a half?
No, I don't at all. I don't at all. I think Hellebuck's a good goaltender. I don't. But are they going to play sloppy, not playing 5 days in a row? Are there going to be goals? Demons Are Real has come back to that the Jets are not great on the road. We need more. We need more Demons Are Real. I think that's too high. I think 6.5 is too high. All
right, I'll throw that one on there. I did bet that one, and it's bouncing down, up and down, up and down. Under 6.5 -108 is the best line that is available right now. I mean, not only is it 6.5, but it's not even a big money line. It's just -108. So the odds. So under 6.5 -108, I will take that one. And definitely leaning. Winnipeg as well, but we'll see. All right,
Michael Irvalina says 6.5 is way too much.
Yeah. All right, so I'm on the under 6.5 -108. I did bet that one. Let's keep moving on. Another one that's interesting is San Jose against Boston. And what's your take on Martin Jones? Is he for real? Been playing great.
He is for real.
Definitely. In general, we believe that San Jose is a little bit old and a team we might look to fade unless they're a huge underdog here. Tuukka Rask supposedly back in goal for Boston. What do you think? Is Boston as just a small home favorite a good play?
No. No, they're not. I like the Sharks here. It's been 12 years since Big Joe Thornton was traded to the Sharks. And he's looked okay, 1 goal, 5 assists in 8 games. The Sharks are 2-1 on their 5-game road trip and have impressed me. Logan Couture has 6 goals in his last 4 games. Martin Jones is white hot, 4-0 in his last 4 games, 1.26 goals against average, .957 save percentage. Now, the Bruins' top 3 centers may not play. Now, Bergeron might play, and they've moved Backus back to center because of it. But without Bergeron, Krejci, and Spooner, they just can't beat the Sharks. I wasn't sure. I wanted to talk this game out too and figure it out. But I like the Sharks here, and it just makes sense to me. And let's see what number. I'm getting a plus number.
Yeah, plus 102 is the best line we could offer right now.
I'm going to take the Sharks at plus 102.
Okay, San Jose plus 102, and that's at Pinnacle. All right, we got to move it on. We're coming up we got about 10 minutes to go before we're up on an hour here. Detroit, Tampa Bay, we talked about. Philly and Ottawa. You've mentioned that Philly had some good games recently, but you mentioned that you believe that was a little bit of an illusion. Ottawa maybe underachieved a little bit recently. Is Ottawa a good play here as just a small home favorite?
I don't think they're a good play either because Kyle Turris is now out, and he's a huge part of their team. Now he joins Bobby Ryan, Zach Smith, Colin White, Clark MacArthur on the injury front. Turris has 8 points in 9 games. It's a big loss. The reason why I don't like Flyers so far this year is because I don't like Brian Elliott. I've said all year that Newvirth will take over the number 1 spot on the depth chart, and he's going to do that, and he's playing tonight. I like the Flyers here. I like the Flyers here, and I like the under.
I was leaning under as well. So you want to make those official picks?
I do.
What? All right, the Flyers' best line right now would be plus 101 at Pinnacle sportsbetting.ag. Philly plus 101, and you want the under as well?
I do.
All right, let me find that one. Philly, Ottawa, under 5.5, minus 101. Minus 101, and the under 5.5 minus 101. I was definitely liking the under myself there, and I'll think about whether I want to add that one on. LA Montreal, an interesting matchup here. Carey Price and Quick. Maybe an under on this one as well. What's your take on this one, Jim?
This is the Canadians are a tough team. I'm going to pass. Tough team to figure out. They lead the league in shots at 38.2, but can't score. And I truly believe that all their shots are coming from the periphery. There's no one ever in front of the net. They scored their 4th and 5th power play goals of the season. The Kings have the best penalty kill in the league at 91.2. Now Kyle Clifford joins Jeff Carter on the injury front. And the Kings are getting unexpected offense from guys I don't know much about, like Adrian Kemp, and they're getting great goaltending. After beating the Senators, they're 7-1-1. I like the Kings here, but I'm going to leave this game.
Okay, then Anaheim, Florida, very interesting game, getting great play from goalie Gibson, and 2 straight high-scoring games. Before that, though, they were having problems scoring, obviously. And then Florida, Jim, we were expecting a good game from them against Montreal. They got beat down. Now Florida's at home as a very small home favorite. What's up with Anaheim? Are they good now? Is their scoring for real? Is Gibson for real?
Yes to all of them. They're getting healthier. Lindholm is such a huge addition to this team. 6th overall pick in 2012 draft. When they get Fowler and Vatanen back, they might have the best defense in the league. Florida is 2-1 at home, but they're doing the little things poorly. 28th in goals against at 3.8. They're the worst penalty killing team in the league at 69.7%. Reimer has looked pretty good this year until the Habs game. The Ducks are for real, and I think there's going to be goals scored in this game.
You're not worried about Gibson playing so well for the Ducks?
I'm a little concerned about Gibson playing very well, but I think the Panthers score goals at home.
Yeah.
But they made me look really bad in Montreal. I don't know if they were excited to get home or what. I'm going to leave this game out of it because I have not had a good read on the Panthers right now.
Yeah, I was definitely leaning over as well, and my only concern was Gibson playing well. He's had 5 straight games that I'm saying before the last 2 games where Atlanta exploded, where Anaheim exploded offensively. He had 5 straight games that went under 5.5. Do you think it's more likely to resemble those 5 games or the last 2 games where he played well, but Anaheim put up enough points to get it over on their own?
Yeah, I think that Gibson is playing well. And there's some talk in the forum where people don't like the under or the over. This is a tough spot. I think the Ducks. I'm surprised at how. Sometimes when teams don't have their stars in the lineup early, it makes them come together, and I think the Ducks are going to be a really good team this year.
All right, so I'll think about that one. I'm definitely leaning over on that one. And then we got 3 other games: Minnesota and the Islanders, Edmonton, Dallas, and Washington, Vancouver. What's up with Edmonton? Are they going to start picking it up at some point? If you recall, I predicted. What was it? Yeah, it was the Calgary game where early on in the year where I wanted Calgary to beat Edmonton. Edmonton beat them, but it turned out that my sense of Edmonton that they were going to underachieve a little bit in the early weeks was accurate. Are they going to pick it up at some point? Probably as it come this game at home against Dallas. Don't know. Washington, Vancouver. I was thinking about the under, although that total is headed down now. It's a 5.5 down to about minus 120 or 125. Any of those 3 games, do you have any picks on, Jim?
I do. I don't have a pick on the Capitals Canucks game, but I think you're on the right track taking unders with any game the Capitals are involved in. They have lost Burakovsky. They have nobody scoring. No one's doing creating any offense except for that first line. No secondary scoring whatsoever. But yes, I have some picks. I'm taking the Oilers tonight, and I'm also taking the over. The Oilers have won 2 of their first 8 games. They have the lowest scoring team in the NHL at 1.9. They have only 4 goals in their last 3 games. I don't think that will continue. They've only scored 6 goals this year that McDavid hasn't been a part of. All these offensive woes, and they are second in the league with 37.8 shots a game. I think the goals will come.
Okay.
And Hitchcock is not pleased with how top-heavy his team is. That's what I said before the year started when I put plus 500. I got plus 500 on them not to make the playoffs. Spezza, Hansel, Radulov have 2 goals in between them. Bishop got pulled last game. I'm wondering if this is a spot where we can get some more pucks. He can lose some more confidence. I like the Oilers coming back, and because they've won 2 of their first 8 games, I'm getting a nice number.
So you want them on the money line or the puck line?
The money line.
Okay, minus 120 at Pinnacle is the best line right now, and the total is over 6 plus 106. Is that good for you?
Over 6
plus 106.
Plus 106.
Yes.
Taking it.
And what else do you want, Jim?
I'm also taking the under in the Islanders at Wild. The Isles have won 3 straight, just scored 5 goals on Domingue and the Coyotes. Don't let that offensive outburst against the worst team and a bad goalie fool you. Their offense is not good. Their power play is second last in the league at 7.1%. We know that that's how you score goals in the NHL is on the power play. And if you're hitting at 7.1%, there's a problem. Eberle is not helping. And the Wild are really banged out without Parise, Niederreiter, and Coyle. Those huge losses up front. They still have Stahl and Koivu and Granlund and Ennis and Stewart, but they are going to play a very strict defensive game, just like they did against Vancouver in the last game. So I like the under here.
Okay, 5.5 minus 105 is the best line that we can offer there, and we're just about going to wrap it up. I'm going to try to play it a little bit cute, and hopefully I won't get burned. I'm agreeing with you on the Islanders, Minnesota, and I like the Washington, Vancouver under. So I'm going to take the first period unders in both of those games. What do you think about that? A little stupid, right? A little stupid there. No. All right, let's Islanders, Minnesota first period under 1.5 minus 102, and Washington, Vancouver first period under 1.5 minus 110. That is at Intertop's best line there. Pinnacle has minus 111. Intertops has minus 110. Hopefully I won't wind up getting burned, getting cute by that, trying to get cute there. But I will add those 2 on there. And the Anaheim, Florida game, I'm leaning over on that one. What do you think? That seems like a good play there, right? I will take that one. I will take that one as well. Anaheim, Florida, over 5.5. Hopefully one of those teams will have an offensive explosion. One of those goalies will crap to bed. What do you think?
I think you're on the right track. I'm going to add one pick. I am going to go with you guys on the Winnipeg Pittsburgh under 6.5. I think that's too high of a line, and I was hesitant, but I'm going to come with you guys. Okay, so why don't you review the recent comments, see if there's anything interesting that you want to mention while I update all these picks here, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Well, Demons Are Real thinks that my Oilers pick is ridiculous. He asks if I just caught a brain STD from a bus fare hooker. Then there were Mikey saying, isn't Vancouver dog shit at home? And they're a different team right now than they were at the start of the year. Having Virtanen on the line with the Sedins is given them some real depth and some different looks. So I think that we're not sure exactly what Vancouver is right now. But Kent Davies thinks Capitals is an easy pick. Cleveland Steamer says anybody versus Minnesota is good NHL pick. And I don't think that. I think we're going to start getting more value with Minnesota. I actually disagree. I was going through their roster this morning, and it has a lot of depth. I'm sure they're missing 3 huge parts of their offense, but man, they have a good team. All right, Jim. Well, we got to wrap it up. We're coming up on an hour here. Let me just review. It's a huge hockey card. We wound up throwing a whole bunch of picks on there, and a bunch of leans that weren't there. Jim is on Tampa Bay puck line, Arizona Rangers over 6, San Jose money line plus 102, Philly money line plus 101, and the Philly under 5.5. Winnipeg Pittsburgh under. He just threw that one on. Isles Minnesota under 5.5. Edmonton minus 120, and the over 6 plus 106. It's a lot of games. Yeah. I'm on Toronto minus 1, Arizona money line plus 165, Washington Vancouver first period under, Isles Minnesota first period under, Anaheim Florida over 5.5, and Winnipeg Pittsburgh under 6.5 minus 108. A lot of leans, whole bunch of picks for us. Jim, hopefully it all comes out in the wash in the end, and we're up a couple units tomorrow, and we'll be back tomorrow for the Friday card. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.